the national interest, ladies and gentlemen, in the national interest. We are not here playing. This country is going through very terrible situations and circumstances. And if at this point in time, with the outcry in this country, we have nominees of Mr. President who have been managing the economy in such a way that people are not too satisfied. And we are talking about screening exercise and people just say, take a bow and go. I think that was not fair enough. And that was the point I tried to make. I disagree on record. Let it be said, I am not in support with the timing of the introduction of this cashless policy, so-called. This central bank governor and this president has been in office for 7 years, almost 8 years. You can't be introducing this in the twilight of an administration. I think these are fundamental issues, in my view, in the national interest that should be left for the next administration. It can be introduced, we can debate it, but not to rush this country into this cashless policy when you have a national outcry. I think that we need to re-examine this, and the Senate committee, of which I'm a part, should have more deliberately questioned the CBN nominees on the policy and the readiness of our institutions, the readiness of our economy, the readiness of all the local people who are doing small businesses, who are underbanked or unbanked, and then introducing this at a time that we are preparing for a national election, at a time that we have serious national security challenges. I think that this policy needed more interrogation by this committee, of which I'm a part, and unfortunately the chairman ruled that they should take a bow. But I have a duty to my conscience, a duty to this country, to make my views known for posterity, that I feel that more caution should be exercised by the regulators of our economy, precisely the central bank and the other institutions. They should not hurry into the implementation of this policy. I think more consultation, more examination as to our preparedness. And I thought that now that we had them, we should have interrogated further. Security issues we are dealing with. We believe that our security forces are working hard. And now you have an election, a national election for the first time, BVAS, with all that is associated with it. As we speak, INEC offices are being attacked. We have serious national issues to address, in my view. And this, to me, is not the best time to introduce this policy with finality. I understand there is some flexibility, but my view is that this is not the time to implement it. We can introduce the policy, but not the implementation. It's too fundamental. I think that the next administration should fine-tune and examine it. Now, if the CBN in 7 years has had time, for 7 years or almost 10 years, has had time to implement it or roll it out nationally, but has for some reasons had to pull it back 3 times, then that goes to buttress the fears some of us are expressing. That because you have a national election coming up, because you have not sufficiently dealt with other challenges of insecurity, for example, for now, I think all attention, all focus, security agencies, the CBN, everybody, the political leadership, should be geared towards ensuring the conduct of a smooth, fair and free election, the outcome of which should be acceptable to Nigerians. An election that should not be based on tribe and religion, an election that will not polarize our already divided country further. These are things agitating the minds of some people, some of us who mean well for our country. And this, therefore, is not the time, in my view, to rush into the implementation of a policy that the CBN deputy governor has admitted that they had cost to shift 3 times. And if in 7 years of an administration, if in 10 years of the muting of a policy, you have had cause to shift it 3 times, then you think the best time to introduce it and implement it with finality is when you are preparing for a general election? When you have a nation that is grappling with security challenges? When citizens are already angry and hungry? There's too much anger and division in the land. And I feel in the national interest, the policy is, for me, it makes sense. We're not opposed to the policy. Let's be clear about it. We are talking of fine-tuning our various systems before implementation. We are talking of sufficiently preparing the Nigerian public before implementation. And I thought that my committee, our committee, should have grilled further, which they did not. But the chairman has ruled, he has the gavel. But I have also expressed my views for posterity.